Our story follows the travels of a misfit crew of robot adventurers aboard their old but trusty ship, the SS Oxidize, as they journey around a brave new world to find ancient treasures, make contact with whatever unknown civilizations they might encounter, and hopefully discover the mythical lost city of Olympus. This misfit crew is made up of a crazy old captain, a shiny new doctor, a malfunctioning mechanic, a giant steamboat, and an upper-class communications expert, and all of them are robots. Each episode is told from the perspective of a crew member, as they enter updates into their travel logs. Through these stories, we get a personal look at the character behind each crew member. We see the situations and troubles they have encountered on their journey, and how they have overcome them, and how it has changed their lives. From discovering hidden cities and finding ancient artifacts, to cataloguing wild creatures and dealing with the struggles of being so far away from home. This show will be less about conflict and action, and more about puzzles and riddles, with the goal of teaching problem-solving skills to the audience, which makes the show great for younger viewers, and could be appreciated by children and young adults alike. Robbot is the ship's brand new doctor. Unlike most of the other crew, Rob is a newer model of robot, who feels out of place in the crew, as he considers himself superior to the others, as he is shiny, elegant, and more advanced. Rob travels on an all-terrain wheel, and his hands float near his body. He has bright red eyes, and he speaks out of 3 red dots on his face. He is not the bravest robot, and he often feels sad and alone, as he does not believe that he fits in with the rest of the crew, because he is a more delicate and modern model, whereas they are old, rough and tough. As time goes on, Rob's body gets covered in dirt and grime, and some of his parts have to be replaced with the older parts found on the ship. Through this, he learns he is not so different from the others after all, and begins to value them as his equal. Captain Cog. Every good ship needs a fearless captain to get them through the voyage in one piece. Unfortunately, it is hard to tell whether this captain is fearless or just plain insane, as he loves getting in dangerous situations and risking everything for a bit of a laugh. An older model robot, the captain's body is heavily rusted and damaged from years of travel, and it appears that his mind has been affected from his long time isolated on his vessel. The captain travels on a pair of old squeaky wheels, has a telescope for an eye, and wears a black hat and a bright orange beard. Gearhog. Gearhog is the mechanic of the ship, and he's a bit of a hermit. Gearhog can fix almost anything and loves to strip down machines and hoard their parts in his mechanic bay. This gives him an almost endless supply of resources when it comes to building new contraptions to help the team. Gearhog originally travelled on a set of tracks, similar to a tank, but has been able to utilise his skills to replace it, with a new invention that allows him to effortlessly hover. SS Oxidize, or Oxy for short. The faithful old ship, although falling apart and mostly broken, it still gets the crew where they need to go, and protects them from the elements. Instead of using a motor and rotor blades like a regular ship, Oxy uses his large hands to swim. He rotates them much like the paddles on an old steamboat. Oxy is wise, as it is the oldest member of the crew, and although he doesn't say much, he cares deeply for his crew, and will often impart advice to the members when needed. Chatterbox, the communication expert. Chatterbox is there to make sure the crew is able to speak with whoever they find in their journeys, and to pass on and receive any messages for the crew. Chatterbox has 4 legs that stretch out to stabilise herself. She has 2 arms, one made up of an old satellite dish, and one that is able to be connected to many different attachments. She also has an array of antennae on her back, which she is constantly using to scan for signals. From this environment concept art, you can get a general idea of the show, as it combines the tropical environments that the early explorers would have encountered, with the bright playful colours and slight surrealism you'd expect from 80s era sci-fi. Although there have been shows about robot explorers before, I believe this one to be unique, as its conflict doesn't come from action and combat, it comes from problem solving and puzzles. I believe this is better for younger audiences, as not only is it educational, but it also allows them to connect to these characters. And having lovable characters and a great story is what really sells a show. Thank you for listening.